All right, we are welcome back. Please, if you're finding it difficult to use the Zoom, you can also use our live stream on YouTube. So in case you find it difficult using Zoom, please feel free to use the live stream on Zoom. I expected to have questions on the chat, but I've not gotten any. However, if there are questions, feel free to drop them in the chat if your audio is not coming up. Okay, so once again, please kindly confirm you could hear me loud and clear. Please kindly confirm you could hear me loud and clear. If you can hear me loud and clear, kindly type 22 in the chat room. If you can hear me loud and clear and my screen is very visible before you, you could see my screen, please kindly type 22 in the chat room. If my screen is very visible and you can hear me loud and clear and the screen is moving, if the screen is moving, okay, so our question is based, please, my question is based. So I need to know what your question is based on. Let me know your question. Okay, so if my screen is moving, also confirm. If it is not moving on your end, please also confirm. If it's moving so fast, let me know. If it's moving too slow, let me know. If it's not moving at all, let me know. Wow. For those of us, okay, it's moving so fast. Okay. For those of us that are unable to make it today's section, well, I would have loved everybody to join at the same time, because if anyone misses the foundational classes, it's almost like project management is one hell of a thing you don't want to deal with. Okay, so let's start with the first course. The first course is Project Management Foundation. And in the Project Management Foundation, we will be dealing with defining the basic terms in project management. We'll be explaining the practical approach to the management of projects, and then we'll be summarizing the management processes required to manage a project successfully from start to finish. Now, if we're able to go through this Project Management Foundation from A to Z, would have completed the summary of project management from A to Z. That's standard project management, would have completed the summary from A to Z. Okay, so what we'll be doing in the other sections will be to add flesh to what we've learned in the foundation. All right, okay. So let's begin. By introduction, projects are key ways to create value and benefits in organizations. And like I said earlier, it's not just in organizations. In the country, in the society, all around the globe, projects are key ways to create value and benefits. In today's business environment, organizational leaders need to be able to manage with tighter budgets, better timelines, scarcity of resources, and rapidly changing technology. These are things you need to deal with as a business person. And these are some of the pertinent reasons why we have the need of project managers more in the current dispensation than ever before. The business environment is dynamic with an accelerating rate of change. The pace of change in the business environment is terrible. How many of us have heard this word before? We put in a word in it's an acronym anyway. How many of us have heard of this before? VUCA. You've heard of that before. If you've heard of that before, just share with us. What does that mean? VUCA. VUCA. If you've heard of it before, just type 11. If you've not heard of it before, type 00. If you've heard of the word VUCA, just type 11. If you've not heard of it, type 00. If you've heard of it before, type 11. If you've not heard of it before, type 00. VUCA. Okay. Okay, so I have 11, I have 00, I have plenty 00. Okay, so I know Engineer Rolayo must know VUCA. So Engineer Rolayo, can you please share with us what is VOCA all about? Please kindly share with us, sir. Engineer Rolayo, are you still there? I'm asking you to unmute. Can you share with us what the VOCA is all about? Okay.
Sorry, I was having some issues on with the network connection. Okay. Yeah. Hello?
Yes, please go
ahead.
Can
you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So VOCA is an acronym. It actually means I think represents volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It's like an acronym.
Okay.
Yeah. It's, how would I explain that? It's used to look at difficult, maybe some difficult analysis or difficult circumstances that are being considered in your project.
Okay.
I'm trying to explain it. Like, for example, let me give an illustration. The pandemic, it caused uncertainties in the system.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially in logistics system. A lot of people had COVID. There was a lot of congestion. There was a lot of trouble in my own system. So there was a lot of uncertainty. It changed the uncertainty levels, the certainty levels of delivery, and there were also some issues with life because of the pandemic. The same thing has happened with this Russia-Ukraine war. So there are some there are some things that have been difficult circumstances that has been caused. So we have to rework our systems in an attempt to still meet up with our high standards. So I've tried to explain it in my own little layman view.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. But the key thing there is that the VOCA is an acronym. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And the word VOCA, or the acronym VOCA, actually came because of the present kind of business environment we have. Okay, we have an environment that is very, very volatile. Everything about the current state of the economy, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, all around the globe, is very volatile. The inflation is rising on daily basis. Attrition, human resource attrition is rising on daily basis. In Africa now, we have what we call the brain drain, volatility, right? And there are disruptions causing all these volatilities. Economic policies, political instabilities, pandemic, like Engineer Rolayo said, all of these things have led to, when we say dynamic environment, this is the definition of dynamic environment. The environment is volatile. What you can hold today, you can no longer hold it tomorrow. Okay, price of things are getting unimaginably unbelievable. Resources are getting unimaginably scarce. And then you talk about the uncertainty. The uncertainty is what we've come to live with. We'll talk about the complexity. Because of technology, business systems, business processes are getting more complex because we don't even, some people are still struggling to understand how to use Zoom up to today. Zoom to some of us it should be normal. To some of us in organizations, we have turned most of our meetings, staff meetings, board meetings to Zoom meetings. We feel it's convenient, it saves cost, it eliminates risks and all of that. But to some people, it is not. They still want to sit one-on-one. They don't even know how to use the Zoom. So it's a complex thing that you're bringing to them. Okay, and then to some people, the business environment is becoming more ambiguous. Processes are becoming more ambiguous. Systems are becoming more ambiguous. And in all of this, project management is saying, don't worry, I will fix this for you. Okay, and that's what led to what we call agile project management. Agile project management is about managing the volatilities, managing the uncertainties, managing the complexities, and managing the ambiguities. So if a project manager, we are hiring you because we believe you should be able to manage the volatilities. And what key skill do project managers that makes it a little comfortable for us to say they can manage a VUCA environment? You see, project management is highly analytical, very, very analytical. Project management is strategic. So with project management skills, we can predict, we can read through trends, predict or forecast future events. As a project manager, when you're developing a budget today, you should know that that budget can't be the same tomorrow. I was listening to the NTA news the other day. There is this development they want to bring into Abuja. Power, there's a place in Abuja they call the Wasa district, right? So they are building power projects. They are along other projects they want to bring to the Wasa community. Now they said that project was valued at 100 billion naira when the project was initiated. Now, after the COVID, the project is valued at 128 points, is it 28.9 or 28 point, say 129 billion. So an extra 29 billion. Why? Because there had been volatilities, uncommon price changes, inflation, terrible inflation rates on every side. And then there had been drastic economic downtimes. When I mean drastic in Nigeria, if you're in Nigeria, you understand a little of what I mean. There had been between November 2021 and April 2022, it wasn't just funny for some of us. Okay, you could barely find fuel. Okay, a liter of diesel in Nigeria now is close to, is above 1,000 naira. A liter of diesel, if you find it, is above 1,000 naira. Now, this is something that was less than 300 naira before November 2020, before November 2021. From November 2021, we started having terrible volatilities in the economy. The economy became so volatile. Okay. Now, funny enough, I used to buy watermelon a lot, fruits a lot. So it's been like 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been like 2 weeks that I did not visit the fruit market. So about 3 days ago, I was coming back from work. I said, let me just drive down to the fruit market and get some fruit. So if I had gone to the fruit market with 2,000 naira, I would buy a whole lot of fruit. I will buy one big ball of watermelon that they will cut. And in 1-2 weeks, we will consume that. I will buy big ball of pineapple. I will buy big bunches. I'm talking with 2,000 naira, right? Now, I went to the market, the fruit market. The cheapest place you buy fruits, or one of the cheapest places you buy fruits in Abuja. I went there to buy my fruit. I went to the place I normally buy. And watermelon that if I point, I will tell them I'll pay 500 naira or 600 naira maximum. They told me 2,000 naira. I was like, I didn't tell you that I'm buying every other thing. I said, just watermelon. He said 2,000 naira. I was confused. I entered my car and drove off. I was like, it's like you people don't want to sell to me today. I didn't even bother price. I just left. Went to another place. That one said 2,500. And then I was like, these people, did they have meeting? I drove home. The next day, I was coming back from work. I went back. I didn't even see the watermelon to buy. Now, the small one I had to see, I still bought it at that ridiculous price. What is happening? There is volatility in the whole system. the agricultural system is having volatility, affecting the consumer volatility, okay, price volatilities and consumer behavior and all of that, okay? And then with all of these volatilities, you're not even certain. You're not certain of the fuel, you're not certain of the food, you're not certain of the products that you need, you're not certain of the cement, you're not just certain of anything. So all of those uncertainties, how do you manage them? How do you manage these uneventful circumstances that we did not expect to be eventful? Okay, so these are things that project management is not saying that for your business will help you manage these things. So I need us to understand that dimension. Okay, if you're a marketing manager, you know that, okay, the marketing behavior last week will be forced to change this week. Do you know why? Because the system that forces behavior to change, they are consistently changing. If you were a politician in the last election in Nigeria, you know that the political behavior now in Nigeria has changed. So as a political campaign manager, you need to understand this. And then, or political project manager, you need to understand all of this and then work your models. If you're a product developer, you understand, okay, the scarcity of resources, the high level scarcity of resources now had made customers to buy based on preference, no longer based on wants. They now buy based on preference. They do high level analysis now before they decide what to buy with their money. They buy the product with the highest level of not just value, but satisfaction accompanying it. High level of value with satisfaction accompanying. So you too as a product manager, you too as a business developer, need to rework your business model to suit what the current realities are. Okay, suit what the current realities are. And these are the things that project management is saying, okay, we will help you manage this. Okay, as a project manager, you're saying, I will manage the volatility, I will manage the uncertainties, I will manage the complexities, I will advise on the ambiguity. All right. To remain competitive in the world economy, companies are embracing project management to consistently deliver business value. Consistently deliver business value. Very quick definitions. Project, a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. The temporary nature of project indicates a beginning and an end to the project work, or a phase of the project work. So projects are temporary, and their whole objective is to create unique product, service, or result. A project is not a business. However, businesses need projects to thrive. A business is as long as there is light and day, night and day, we want to do business. But projects, no, we have projects for defined purposes within our businesses. So there is a link between project objectives and business objectives. Projects take away money from your pocket. Business, yes, it takes away money from your pocket, but we are sure it will bring back the money through what we call return on investment. All right? So projects are temporary. They are not things you want to do the remaining days of your life. They are things you do for the purpose of driving business to produce more benefits, more results, more outcomes, more return on investment. And projects have specified time to start and specified time to finish, outside of which volatility will affect that project, uncertainty will affect the project, ambiguity will affect the project, complexity will affect the project. And you don't want to have all of those things dealing with your project costs, your project scope, your project budgeting, your project timeline, and all of that, right? Another thing, there is outcome and end result or consequence of a process or project. Outcomes can include outputs and artifacts. but have a broader intent by focusing on the benefits and values that the project was undertaking to deliver. A deliverable, a tangible, verifiable work or project product. It is a quantifiable outcome of the project which results in a partial or full achievement of the project objectives. Example, a feasibility studies, terms of reference, a detailed design, or a working prototype. All of these could be examples of deliverables. A product is an artifact that is produced, is quantifiable, and can either be an end item in itself or a component item. That means it can be the end item or it could be a phase item. A phase item is used, it's not the complete product we are looking at. Okay, that means is an output that will be used as an input in another phase of the project. Portfolio, projects, programs, subsidiary portfolios, and operations managed as a group to achieve strategic objectives. A program, related projects, subsidiary programs, and program activities that are managed in a coordinated manner to obtain benefits not available from managing them individually. Management, the effective and efficient use of resources to achieve desired goals. Management functions include planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Project management, therefore, is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. Project management refers to guiding the project work to deliver the intended outcomes. Project teams can achieve the outcomes using a broad range of approaches. Example, the predictive approach, the hybrid, or the adaptive approach. We'll all look at these approaches as we proceed. A project manager, the person assigned by the performing organization to lead the project team that is responsible for achieving the project objectives. Project managers perform a variety of functions, such as facilitating the project team, work to achieve the outcomes, and managing the processes to deliver intended outcomes. The project team is a set of individuals performing the work of the project to achieve its objective. Skills, a set of specialist knowledge and experience required to produce or required to reduce project risk and increase its success. Tools, items used to improve the chances of a project succeeding, used as a means of achieving a result. Process, a series of actions bringing about a result, includes various management processes and techniques. Now, types of a project. Projects are different from standard business operations as they are temporary, unique, progressive, and elaborate. By being temporary, we say it has a start and finish time. By being unique, it creates something new. By being progressive, it is not magic. You do it gradually. So it uses a bottom-up approach. By elaborate means that all the components, all the aspects of the project, the objectives, the scope are well specified. The other side is that projects have approved budget. There must be a budget approved for the project before the project commences. Projects have limited resources. Every project, no matter how big or small, they all have elements of risk. Projects have defined timescale, and projects help to achieve beneficial change. Every project is tilted towards well-defined objectives. And when those objectives are met, certain beneficial changes would have been achieved. All right. Now, quickly, let's look at the comparison between project and operations. What could be the major differences? This could be seen as saying the difference between project and business. Operations are the activities carried out in a business, right? Okay, so we have this plot 1, 2, 3, 4. Temporary projects are temporary endeavor. Operations are ongoing routine. Operations are the things we do daily in a business to sustain it. Projects are new original work. Operations are repeated work. Projects have unique output. Operations have repetitive output. Projects are terminated once the objectives are met. Operations adopt new objectives while once achieved, once the initial objectives are met, new objectives are raised. That's for operations. But for a project, as soon as the objective is met, the project is terminated. Now, in all of these, both a project and operations, they are both planned, they are both controlled, they are both executed, they are both monitored. Irrespective of their differences, they still have similarities. Their similarities exist in the part that they are both planned, they are both controlled, both executed, and monitored. Please, at any point, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand, and I will take your question. Today's class, like I said, is not going to be a bulky class. We just established some of the, we introduce the course, and then we'll go and rest. Okay. So in any, at any point, if you have a question, please feel free to ask us. Okay. Examples of a project. Examples of a project. Now, before I share with us what I have here, can we, what do you think would be an example of a project? A good example of a project. Feel free to, having defined what project is, having defined what product is, what operations are, can you give us, every one of us, can we give one example of a project? The mics are open, so you can unmute, and let's hear from you. Anyone can unmute, the mics are open. Give us an example of a project.
Dr. Banito.
Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning again. So from all the definitions, building a road from one point to another, maybe a road construction work, because it's temporary. It's it has a set time. It's set dates. So that's my own idea of a project. Sorry?
The network is breaking a little. I don't know whether it's from my end or from your end, but it's breaking.
Okay.
Yeah, the network was breaking a little, but I heard the
So I said that an idea of a project is building a road, maybe from in Lagos, maybe from Antony to Bagada. Because it's temporary, it's not going to be forever. There's a start date, there's an end date, there are resources required, there's a time scale, and it's progressive, and so building a 1 kilometer road.
Okay, so construction of 1 kilometer road from Antony to Bagada. Okay, yeah. So that's a very good example of a project. Okay, so can we have another person give us another good example? In this case, don't use road as an example again. We are done with road. Don't give us another example with road. Can we have someone else? Can we have someone else? It could be examples within our business environment, also business operations. Can we have other examples? Okay, let me see what is in the chat room. Chisom said, from all definitions, setting up a dental clinic. Okay, so setting up a dental clinic is also a good project, a good example of a project. Can we have another one? So we have two people who have given us example. I still have Ejibendu Mezie. I still have Kelechuku Oraka. I still have Kenneth Ibe. I still have Oluwaseyi Ogunfuwa. I still have Simon Salifu. Okay, so who will give us another example of a good project? Another example of project. So are we assuming there is only two examples we have? So let me move on fast. So we have some examples that are not exhaustive. In the construction world, you can have 1 billion example, from road construction to house construction to bridge construction to railway construction, all manner of constructions. In the business environment, we have billions of examples too, from installing softwares to setting up new business ventures to planning, recruitment, and all of that. So Chisom is giving us another example. Planning an event like coronation of a king. That's lovely. So all kinds of events, every event is a project-based task. They were from Oluwaseyi. Oluwaseyi is a construction of a cubicle for engineering. Okay. From Jibendo, Ejibendo Mezie, cultivation of cassava farm. That's lovely. Farming is also a project on its own. Okay, farming is a project on its own. That's lovely. Thank you. From Kelechuku said, employing 50 staff to work at a new factory. So recruitment is a project on its own. Thank you. Salifu said, planning a wedding. This is why you're saying planning a wedding. Is your wedding around the corner? Okay. Mr. Simon, is your wedding around the corner? I'm beginning to suspect you. Okay, so we have different examples. Okay, different examples. So let's just, with the understanding we have, is easier for us to now differentiate. Okay, so now let's look at it. Can we have examples of operations? Can we now have examples of operations? Let's be sure.
Yes, I have one example,
okay.
Dr. Banito.
Go ahead.
So right now in my office, I plan to expand. Okay. I want to move into West Africa more. I want to manage Dakar, Senegal. So we have a plan to move into Dakar, Senegal with our facility. So we are renting a hub. We are bringing our facility into the hubs. We are setting up express centers, retail centers, and we're also employing staff in the place and getting them trained, all within the next 4 months.
That's lovely. So where are we coming in? Where is IPM coming in?
Okay, so IPM can help.
We know you cannot do all of this. Your company cannot do all of this by themselves.
Okay, so IPM can come in and do all the training, project management training, HR recruitment courses.
Okay, so let's look at this example you gave now. Let's look at this example. Expanding to other West African countries. You said Dakar and Senegal, right?
No, Dakar, Senegal. Dakar is the capital of Senegal.
Okay, Dakar is the capital of Senegal. Don't mind me, I'm a village man. Okay, yeah. So we are expanding to Dakar, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I want us to look at this. Is it a project or is it an operation, or is it a combination of both project and operation? If you say it's a project, you tell us what makes you feel it's a project. If you say it's an operation, you tell us what makes you feel it's an operation. If you tell us that it's a combination of both, you also share your thoughts on why you think so. So this is a very good example So let's hear from the class. UPS International, they are moving to Dakar. They're expanding to Dakar. And then inside there, they are going to be recruiting, installing their systems and doing all of that. So is it a project? Is it an operation? Is it a combination of the two? Let us hear your view. So if you agree that is a project, just type P in the chat room. If you agree that is an operation, just type O in the chat room. If you agree that is a hybrid, just type H in the chat room. So someone say PO, that's okay, POH. Okay. 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 If we look at this particular example, is a hybrid assignment. Inside it, you find project. What is the project inside this thing now? Let's see who will help us. What is the project inside it? What's the project? We've all agreed that is a hybrid, right? So what's the project? All right, go ahead, sir.
The project is to set up the location with all its facility within a time period, a setup of that place. Okay. Go so there, rent the location, put the equipment, train the staff, set up.
So the setting up is a project.
Yes.
So what are the operations inside it now? So the project is the expansion. Thank you so much, Oluwaseyi. So the expansion itself is a complete project, which is the setup we're talking about. So what are the operations inside it?
So should I come in here or should I give another person a chance?
You can go ahead. Any person can go.
So the operation is because
the difference. Okay.
Since the setup is just the project, the operation is the continual. You will now need to get your customers, bring your packages in, start using the facility, use your trucks, use your vans. It's a continuation. It doesn't stop. So, because the reason for setting up was to make money, and the money-making process is an operation in itself.
Okay, so inevitably, customer service is an operation, marketing is an operation,
yes.
Sales
business
is
development.
Operations, business development is operations, administrative runnings, according to Mr. Salifu, is an operation.
Yes,
so you see, with this example we just gave now, I want us to always see this a project. Projects are always carried out, especially in the business dimension, organizational dimension. Businesses are or projects are carried out to launch businesses. Projects are carried out to launch businesses. So whenever we are setting up a project, it's also good we understand the operations that follows afterwards. If not, the project might seem not to achieve its value or achieve its objectives. Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Rolayo, for giving us a hybrid example. So can we have, okay, I think we already have the examples of operations already. All right, thank you so much. So let's quickly look at what we have on the screen. Examples of project: releasing a new music album, testing and installing a piece of equipment, developing a new training program, establishing a new youth center, an event, or any kind of event, wedding, birthday, coronation, whatever, they are all projects. Manufacturing a new product, installing a new computer system, research and development program, among others. These are all examples of projects. Okay, so let's take a 30 seconds break, and then when we come back, we will look at project management overview. All right, we're all welcome back. I trust you enjoyed your 30 seconds break. So let's look at the project management overview. Like a summary, project management is the application of skills, tools, and management processes required to undertake a project successfully. Project management is accomplished through the use of processes grouped as initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing. So we have in project management what we call the process groups. And the process groups are 5. Now, the process group simply tells us that irrespective of what we want to do in project management, it always falls into 5 categories. You have the first category or the first process group of okay, so someone is asking whether they will get the note or with material or get the note. Yes, as soon as the payments are made, you get the material. But I think you should have the material, although this is the updated material. Engineer Rola, I think you're supposed to have this material, except for the updated one. But if as soon as you make your payments, your study material payment, you get the material. Okay. So like I was trying to say.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Every project must, by default, have these 5 phases. 5 phases. The phase 1 is initiation. Now, whether you call it initiation or conceptualization phase or imagination phase or setup phase, is still initiation. Then from initiation, we talk about the planning, structuring how it will be done. Okay, structuring how it will be done. So planning answers 5 questions. The question of why, the question of what, the question of when, the question of who, and the question of where. Why will it be done? When will it be done? Who? In fact, we have both who and whom. Who is doing it and whom are we doing it for? Then you have the question of how will it be done and where will it be done? Planning answers these questions. And then you have the phase of executing. And then the executing has to do with implementing the things that have been stated in the plan. So the quality of execution is dependent on the quality of planning. And the quality of planning is dependent on the clarity of initiation phase. I'll repeat this again. The quality of execution is dependent on the quality of planning. And the quality of planning is dependent on the clarity of communication, the quality of the business case that we'll have for the project. Okay. And then we'll have the monitoring and control. Monitoring and control is a continuous process that runs from initiation down to closure. Monitoring and control want to be sure that the initiation, the business case that we are running is feasible. Not only feasible, but it is needed. It is a need that must be attended to, all right? Then, when it comes to planning, it is trying to ensure that all of the plans being put together will achieve the concept note. You know, after your initiation, you have your concept note or what we call the executive summary, right? So the planning is trying to help us achieve the basis for which the project is initiated. And then executing is doing what the plan has said. So monitoring and evaluation is in every phase. It's in every phase. And then monitoring and evaluation in closure is ensuring that what we initiated, what we had in mind is what we now have as a product. That's the closing phase, monitoring in the closing phase. And you know, monitoring and evaluation is very crucial in project management. Monitoring and evaluation is very crucial. To tell you that project management is becoming key or has become key in every facet of life, in every sector, including public sector. I was sharing an experience of what TCN, Transmission Company of Nigeria, what they do on NTA to educate the people on power this and power that, electricity, energy, and all of that. Now, the other day I was driving home from work and I tuned into the network news. And then I was following a conversation, and the conversation was that there is what they call NEMSA, I think NEMSA, National Energy Management, something. Okay. TCN is still part of them, right? Now they said they have installed or inaugurated a task force, a monitoring and evaluation task force to monitor all power generation, power distribution, and power consumption projects, both the ones that are coming up and the ones that are already done. So they are following up with maintenance on power projects that are already completed. And then they are following up with impact assessment, environmental screening and scanning for proposed projects. And that's a good thing, all right? That's a good thing. And then while I finished listening to that, and then on TCN, I saw another team they built or they installed. I've forgotten the word they call it, whether they say it's a mobile life team, something like that, mobile life team. Okay, so what the mobile life team does is that if there is any emergency identified, you call them. They said, irrespective of your location in Nigeria, within 3 days, they will be in that location to rectify that particular power issue. Okay, if it is a pole that fell down, if it is, but their work is more on the high tensions anyway, not the local, not the what I put now, not the normal poles, but the high tension poles. Yes. So now, if you look at it, monitoring and evaluation is just that core aspect that determines continuity, that determines return on investment for projects that are done and are being done and are proposed to be done. Okay, so no matter what we are doing in organization, monitoring and evaluation or monitor and control need to be there. The only reason why we talk about performance is because there is monitoring and evaluation. If there are no monitoring and evaluation, we can't talk about performance. Performance is strictly a result of what was proposed versus what is being done. And you use performance and evaluation frameworks to assess performance. All right? Okay. Now, in summary of what project management is all about, it's just all about skills, combination of skills, tools, and management processes to deliver results. In the set of skills, we have the specialist knowledge, experience, and skills. And then on the suite of tools, we have planning software, modeling software, registers, checklists, review forms. On the series of processes, we have time management processes, cost management processes, quality management processes, and several other management processes involved in project management. Now, project management process groups, just as I've mentioned, the 5 of them, you have the initiation or the conception phase, under which we expect to have a project charter. Your project charter is like a concept note that defines what the project is going to achieve and authorizes for the commencement of the project to the next phase of planning. All right. And then on the planning, you have planning of the scope and budget, the work breakdown structure, the schedule, the Gantt chart, the communication plan, the risk management plan, and every other thing that needs to be planned, right? And from there, you go to execution, where we do the status and tracking, status of work being done and then tracking. And then we're also checking for the key performance indicators to be sure that they are being achieved. We also check for quality, and then we'll make forecasts. Then from there, we'll go to control, monitoring and control. You monitor the objectives, you monitor the quality deliverables, you monitor and control the effort and cost tracking, and then the performance. Then you have the project close, which you look at the post-mortem, what we have, is it equal to what we planned? Then you have the project punch list, and then you have the reporting. Why is project management important? 9.9% of every dollar is wasted due to poor project performance. This is a report from Project Management Institute as of 2018. So I'm sure by now it would have increased. How many of, okay, for those of us Nigeria, how many of us know what the 2020, the proposed 2023 budget is? Do you know what it is? If you know, let me hear. The 2023 proposed budget. Who have an idea? Who has an idea of what that budget is? 2023. Who is with me? Because I would like us to see project management in its complete reality, not that we'll just come here and talk stories and go. We've said project management is needed in development, all right? And one aspect of project management application on developmental strides is governmental projects, okay, on societal development. So who knows the proposed 2023 budget? Nigeria proposed 2023. Hope my mic is open. Okay, it's like I'm the only one that is lost here. Okay, so in I was listening to the news. Please, if you're a night, I don't used to listen to news before, but I've started listening to news. So I will advise, if a project manager, do yourself a favor and listen to news. Okay, listen to news. It's important to listen to news because those information they give us during the news, it helps us in managing this VUCA environment. This, is it VUCA now what? The volatility, you can practically see the volatility. Now, 2000 we moved from about 16. First of all, we moved from 4 point something trillion as a country to 8 point something trillion. From 8 point something trillion, we moved to 12 point something trillion. We're still fighting that. We moved to 14 point something trillion. Now we are talking about over 19 trillion naira. What? 19. We've never seen that in Nigeria before. And you know the most amazing thing? I want you to see, if those of us in Nigeria, listen to me. If you have not paid attention to Nigerian Bureau of Statistics when they are publishing, you need to understand the implication of this to us as project managers, right? We need to understand the implication and then the implication to the nation at large. Now, we have exceeded our benchmark, our borrowing benchmark as a nation. Nigeria has exceeded its borrowing benchmark as a nation. And for every budget that we raise, more than 50% of the budget is financed through external debt borrowing. All right? So if you look at the Nigerian budget now, it automatically tells you, number one, in Nigeria, we say we have, how many? I think it was yesterday, they said it was 17%, 17 point something percent, like average 17 point something percent inflation rate. Now, meanwhile, they stated that in some other parts of the country, inflation was high. In Abuja, inflation is high. You get up to 27% of inflation rate. In Port Harcourt, Cross River, Lagos, you have inflation rate hitting about 22.7%. And then in some other places, you have 25%. And then other places like Jigawa, like the far north, you have 17+%. All right. But the question is, where were we last year? The inflation rate in Nigeria has moved 3.5%. Between January to August, we had 3.5% increase in inflation rate compared to what we had last year, 3.5% inflation rate. So now we have money, but the money does not have value. We have 19, we first of all introduced, was it 16 trillion in the last budget? But the money does not have value again. Now we are bringing in 19 trillion, yet we don't see it having that much value. We don't see it having that much value. We don't see it having that much value. So as a project manager or government introducing project management, they are now using things like monitoring and evaluation to manage every investment they are making, okay, to monitor every investment they are making. And we too need to be conscious of that. The $1 we knew about 3 months ago is not the same $1 we know now in Nigeria. $1 is approaching 750 now, 750 naira. About 3 months ago, or say roughly 6 months ago, CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, could boldly say that $1 was 410 naira. But today, they can't dare say that. Okay. So we need to, for the sake of managing every single investment, we need to pay attention to project management. According to PMI, 32% of the budget is lost when a project fails to reach its goals. Now, there is also something ICPC has come up with. ICPC said the 2022-2021 budget had a difference of about 400 billion naira that was called padded budget. Padded. That means there were several projects replicated. Okay, and ICPC came up and said those projects, those agencies, those MDAs with those projects need to come and answer to why they had one project replicated over multiple times, causing great cost for the country. Okay, and now they said for this particular 2023 proposed budget, there is over 3 trillion, like the padded budget is in trillions of naira, padded. What does this mean? This simply means that the project management we're talking about has not yet become, it has not become 100% effective in operation. Like a monitor and evaluation agency, right? Just like we'll have those asset management agencies, asset management company of Nigeria. Those guys are like monitor and evaluation agencies. They are supposed to spot these things out from the initiation of these proposals, this budget, and say, this agency, that agency, this agency, they have the same project. Okay, and these projects are running into volumes of billions. So why do we have to do the same project, assign money to these agencies, and it's just the same thing they are doing? So we keep having much more depreciation, much more loss of assets and capitals when there is no project management. Then 39% of projects fail due to change in an organization's priorities. 52% of the completed projects experience high scope creep as changes in scope, changes in the planned activities. 68% of the organizations outsource their projects to third parties. So all of these challenges, we just want to have an effective project management system that will help us make sure that we are in the right place at the right time. Now, project management helps us to meet business objectives, satisfy stakeholder expectations, be more predictable, increase chances of success, deliver the right product at the right time, resolve problems and issues, respond to risks in a timely manner, optimize the use of organizational resources, identify, recover or terminate failing projects, manage constraints, balance the influence of constraints on the project, and then manage change in a better manner. The absence of project management may result in missed deadlines, cost overruns, poor quality, rework, uncontrolled expansion of the project.
I know that. I think I'm in no. I've seen you guys now. I don't know, but I know you guys are talking. I know.
Okay, thank you for that beautiful interruption, Mr. Simon. Okay, it may also result in loss of reputation for the organization, unsatisfied stakeholders, and failure in achieving the objectives for which the project was undertaken. So in summary, we have this to tell us the common classes of project failure. You have the market and strategy failures, organization and planning failures, leadership and governance failures, underestimation and analysis failures, quality failures, risk failures, skills, knowledge, and competency failures, engagement, teamwork, and communication failures. These are the common classes of project failures. Effective and efficient project management should be considered a strategic competency within organizations because it enables organizations to tie project results to business goals, talking about the strategic inclination of projects to businesses, compete more effectively in their market, sustain the organization, and respond to the impact of business environment changes on projects by appropriately adjusting project management plans. Okay, so let's take a little break. And then when we come back, we will continue from where we stopped. We're taking on a 5 minutes break. And then when we come back, we'll continue from there. Please enjoy your 5 minutes break. And if you are just joining us for the first time, you have not followed us on YouTube, please take the 5 minutes and please ensure to subscribe to our YouTube link or YouTube channel. Click on it. I'm posting the link right now. Just click and subscribe. By subscribing on it, all the lectures, you get to have them. And please, when we say subscribe, it doesn't involve money. Just go there, you see the subscribe button, and then you click on subscribe. Now, if you have not joined us on LinkedIn, please, you are encouraged to do so also. So join us on LinkedIn. The essence of joining us on LinkedIn is for easy endorsement and verification of all your certifications that come from IIPM. So if you are on LinkedIn already, then join us on YouTube. If you're on YouTube already, then join us on LinkedIn. Okay. Now for every other channel, Facebook, Instagram, and others, you find us as IPM International. So please feel free to join us there. And please, before you go, when we come back, we'll be rounding up. Before you go, please make sure you take your attendance. Make sure you take your attendance. Make sure you take your attendance before you go. So please feel free, join us on YouTube. If you join us on YouTube, just click on subscribe, and then on LinkedIn, click on follow. All right. And we'll be back in the next 5 minutes to proceed with the class. If you have a question, please feel free to also drop it in the chat room, and we'll answer it when we return. All right, welcome back. Let's begin to round up. I trust we enjoyed our break. You're welcome back. We have just a few minutes to round up this section. We have a few minutes to round up this section. So if you're back to class, please kindly type 1-1 in the chat room. If you're in class, please kindly type 1-1 in the chat room. If you're in class, please kindly type 1-1 in the chat room. So I'm saying, if you can hear me in class, please kindly type 1-1 in the chat room. I think the network is disturbing a little, but we'll soon round up. If you can hear me loud and clear and you can see my screen, please kindly type 1-1 in the chat room. Can anyone hear? Sorry, the network is disturbing a little from here. Kindly bear with me. So can you still hear me now? If you can hear me, kindly confirm by typing 1 in the chat room. I'm rounding up almost immediately. So I have just a few minutes to round up and then we'll go on a break. Okay, so welcome back. We have looked at the foundation, what is project management, characteristics of project management, benefits of project management, and all of that. Now let's look at what we call the project constraint. Project constraint, what are the things that constrain project management execution? What are the things that limit project management? According to PMI, we have principally 3 of them: the cost or budget, scope, and time, then quality. Trying to exemplify that for us to achieve quality, certain depths of quality, cost or budget must be involved, scope must be involved, and time must be involved at appropriate levels, all right, at appropriate levels. However, there are other compositions that also make up this constraints. So you have the risk, you have the risk, the resources, okay. Now, for this 3 pull constraint, it's assumed that cost covers everything that has to do with finance. So your communication cost, your budget, resource cost, human resources, and all. procurement, stakeholder management, they're all under cost. Then time also is all encompassing. The time you need to manage certain risks, manage stakeholders, so they're all spelled out. And then scope also is all encompassing. Okay, you identify different levels of work, and then at different levels of work, you identify the different levels of risks associated with them. All right. So this is much more a summary of what the project constraints are all about. Now, quickly, relationship of project, program, portfolio, and operations management. Using project management processes, tools, and techniques puts in place a sound foundation for for organizations to achieve their goals and objectives. A project may be managed in 3 separate scenarios. A project can be managed as standalone project outside of a portfolio or a program. It can be managed within a program, and it can be managed within a portfolio. Now, project managers interact with portfolio and program managers when a project is within program or portfolio. So a project can be a standalone. It could be inside the program. It could be inside a portfolio. Now, what then is a portfolio? What then is a program? A portfolio, let me start with a program. A program, manage your program hierarchy under the portfolio, create, manage, and monitor projects under portfolio, align your portfolio with different business units, maintain your project portfolio within budget with real-time monitoring. Portfolio defines and manage, or define and manage your portfolio hierarchy, align your portfolio with your business strategy, and then monitor your portfolio's health real time. Then for the project management, create, plan, monitor your projects, have complete visibility of project progress in real-time manner, and complete your project within time, scope, and budget. Now, a project is found inside a program, and the program is found inside a portfolio. A portfolio is when you have a collection of programs and collection of projects that may or may not be dependent on whatsoever kind for the purpose of achieving strategic objectives of an organization. We call that portfolio. When we have collection of different projects, collection of different programs to achieve, that are well managed to achieve strategic objectives of an organization, we call that portfolio. So take, for instance, let's assume UPS International. They are into logistics, okay? And then they are also into transport. Logistics is considered as a program. Transport is considered as a program. Now let's assume they are also into tourism. Okay, that is another program. Now, by the time you take logistics as a case, you find out that there are different projects inside the logistics. For instance, expansion to Dakar is a project on its own, maybe another expansion to another place, another project somewhere, okay, under the program of logistics. Then you have transportation, could be procurement of transport equipment, could be expansion of the transport business and all of that. Same thing applies to tourism. They define different business industries that are thriving on, okay, that could be seen as a portfolio. Now, each of those programs have different projects also that run alongside within them, okay? The projects run hand in hand among each other within a particular program, okay? And then, of course, the projects themselves need to be well managed to be able to deliver the results. So no matter how big your portfolio is, it has to boil down to defined projects. The execution of those projects will bring you to having achieved the program. And then the execution of those programs will help you to achieve your portfolio. So it is program first, sorry, it is project first. From project, you move down to, or you move up to programs, from programs, move on to portfolio. But however, when you're designing your business strategy, you're designing it on the basis of the portfolio you want to engage versus the business strategy you want to engage. And then going down, we need a program that will help us achieve the portfolio, and then we need a project that will help us to achieve the program. And then going down also, we need tasks and activities that will help us achieve the projects. All right. Okay, so that's how this works. So they are all interrelated. So project management, for instance, project management has to do with the delivery of the product or service, which deals with the scope, cost, schedule, responsible for the quality of the deliverables. All right. The program management, so at the level of project management, we are talking of quality deliverables. At the level of program management, we are talking about the stakeholder value. And at the level of portfolio management, we're talking about the business value. So at program management, we are sponsored by the business, ownership of the benefits, business, the stakeholders are the owners of the benefit. Multiple projects could be running, alignment of project with overall program benefits, and compliance with project management standards. That's the stakeholder management. And then you have the portfolio management led by the business goal alignment, business value alignment, as the risk and the benefit has to be well evaluated. And then we have program selection and portfolio optimization. So at each of the levels, there are defined purposes for each of them. Okay. However, program, project, portfolio, they are all interrelated. Okay. Strategic management versus project management. Strategy plan management and project management. A strategic plan is a future goal. Project plan is short-term goal. Strategy plan is outcome-based. Project plan is deadline-based. A strategy plan is about visioning. Project plan is about doing. Strategy plan is whole company positioned. Project plan is functionally positioned, maybe department or unit or person or product or service. Strategy plan is broad. Project plan is specific. Project plan has many dependencies. Project plan may not have many dependencies. Strategy plan, harder to claim victory. Project plan, easier to claim victory because you already know what your expected outcomes are. For strategy plan, it is less satisfying and less popular. Project plan is more satisfying and more popular. Now, still on strategic management versus project management, I would like us to understand this diagram. It's simple, but most often, if you don't understand it, it's similar to it's just a mirage. Now, strategic planning starts from visioning, from vision to mission, from mission to organizational strategy and objectives. Now, you need vision, mission, organizational strategy, and objectives to be able to define the portfolio of the organization. And it's only when you define the portfolio that you can now begin to talk about the programs and the projects within the organization, right? So without vision, without mission, without organizational strategy or objectives, there will be no portfolio. So in essence, without strategic management, there will be no project management. Without strategic management first, strategic management is foundational. It is project management that brings the strategic intents of organizations out. I need us to understand that. It's project management that brings out the purpose, the objectives of organization out. But strategic management has to establish the vision, has to establish the mission, has to establish the organizational strategies and objectives. And then by the time we know all of this, we can now sit down and say, okay, this is what our portfolio is. We'll be doing this, we'll be doing that, we'll be doing this, we'll be doing that. Now, inside all of the things we say we are doing, maybe we say we are going to go into the aviation industry, we'll do transport industry, we'll do oil and gas industry, we'll do this and we'll do that, we'll do communication. Those are the program components that make up the portfolio. Now, inside each of them, you now have the projects that make up each one. Now, from the portfolio, you now have management ongoing operations, the one we are doing, the business side, and then you have management of authorizing programs and projects. okay? And then at the base of it all is that we need organizational resources to achieve all of this. So there is still a relationship, an exciting relationship between strategic management and project management. And that relationship is that we need vision, mission, strategic objectives of the organization and the organizational strategy before we could start developing portfolio. And we need portfolio to raise programs, and we need programs to raise projects, and we need projects to drive businesses. Okay. Strategic project management. Strategic project management just deals principally with three things. You have the strategic analysis, strategic choice, and strategic implementation. Strategic analysis of defining the need for the project, both now and in the future. Defining sustainability, having different options of which project can be done, and then making the choice of the most perfect project and then implementing it strategically. Okay, so that's what strategic project management is all about. So you define the project, you create the strategy, you plan the project, you implement and control, you review and you learn. And you keep doing that. Okay. As a strategic project manager, you need this information that you see on the screen. You have the strategic foundation to your project, which has to do with the business thinking, strategic thinking, asking the right questions, goals and critical success factors, outcomes and benefits. That's strategic foundation. As a project manager, you need this. Then from there, you go to the situational analysis, problem and user needs definition, stakeholder analysis, mapping and segmentation, force field analysis. That will give us what we call the problem statement and stakeholder impact. So that will tell us also in strategy, it will tell us where we are now. Where we are now will cover both the situational analysis and the strategic position. Under the strategic position, you have the strategic analysis, you have PEST. PEST analysis is the political, economic, social, and technological analysis. You have the competition, 5 forces, resources, and capabilities. Then you have your SWOT analysis too. That will help us to set smart goals and objectives. Now, where should we go? That will give us strategy definition, cost leadership, differentiation, positioning, strategic analysis checklist, project outcomes, and that will give us what we call the strategic positioning statement. That's where should we go? And then you have how do we get there? That will bring us to the roadmap. The roadmap will lead us to smart outcomes, test, setting outcome priorities, linking outcomes to deliverables, and then benefit realization planning. So this is what the strategic planning is all about in respect to project management. Okay, in respect to project management. Quickly, let's look at product management versus project management. A product management involves more of researching. Project management involves more of breaking down initiatives into tasks. Product management is more of setting up product vision. Project management is all about planning project timelines. Product management is more of communicating vision to stakeholders. Project management is about allocating project resources. Product management is about developing a strategic plan. Project management is about monitoring task completion. Product management is about creating and maintaining product roadmap. Project management is about communicating progress to stakeholders. Product management is about product vision and goal formulation. Project management is about focus on deadlines, projects. Product management is user understanding. Project management is regular status updates. Product management is about marketing strategy. Project management is about managing budget within a project. Product management is about marketing analysis. Project management is about managing the risks. So irrespective of the fact that we find project management in product management, we should always know that there is a difference between the two. However, before you develop a product, you still need project management to be able to develop that project. Okay, I may have to skip through this. I may also have to skip through this. And this is where we are going to round up on the first session. So we've been able to define the basic terms in project management, explain the practical approach to project management, and we'll summarize the management process is required to manage a project successfully. Is there any question for me? Our lecture 2 will be on project environment, but this will be in our next class. Okay, do I have any question?